Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Conquer the Clutter podcast for the 25th of March. Spring is on the horizon. So, I have what I think is an interesting topic that I wanted to talk to people about. And I hope it's beneficial. Um, it's not normally, it's not about a topic that I normally would have entertained, but I had an experience where, the one, two, three, the first is like, oh, that's interesting. The second is, and the third is, I think there's a pattern here. And I wonder how many other people are living with this. So here we go. Um, the other day, something happened that caused me to reflect on the fact that clutter has a high incidence for those who live alone, or for those, if they don't live alone, being in a strained relationship. And so, with co residing and that stress, it leaves people living with kind of a low, hopefully a low level stress. And that stress creates distance between people, even when you love someone, even when you genuinely care about them. All right. And when you live alone, if you're in that cohort, and that seems to be a large cohort, what it also does is the side effect of having, I won't say no social contacts, but probably limited social contacts. So even when you have like a fairly strong family connection, all right, but how many people here find that their days are largely spent being alone? All right. How many people here today find that their days are spent feeling alone, even when you're not alone? Right? Having a hard time, all right, parting with your things because that's an extra burden, that's an extra challenge, an extra hill to climb. And that when I sort of digested that, it left me wondering who or what, because we all need contact of some kind, all right? We're social beings, even if we're not social butterflies, all right? Who or what are people using for company? Huh? Is it the TV? Please, people, tell me it is not social media, although I know that's a big temptation. All right. Because neither the TV and passively watching shows, you know, being committed, they're very cagey and very successful, artful almost in how even the news, current events are laid out for us in a way that we relate, like somehow, even at a distance, we're part of it. All right. That's not where you're going to get that feeling that we all need. All right. So the TV, even when you're a spectator, an invested spectator, or social media, neither of those are going to give you warm fuzzies. All right. So before I decided this observation I was making and the wonder of it, that observation was true, I thought I would ask all of you, how true is that? And is that a slow leak that you or the people you live with, who are your main source of feedback and gratification of whatever kind, that slow leak both of you are living with? So, and what or who are your companions in life? if they're not actively involved with you in a personal life, in a social life. And is that enough? Is there a void? Is there a longing? And I started to reflect. That caused me to reflect. This has been a reflective week, by the way. How many other people I work with, including you folks, every week, largely live alone, even when they don't live alone, because we all need, as Tony Robbins says, joy in our life, little jolts of joy. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be spectacular. They don't even have to be noticeable to other people, but they give you that little warm feeling. All right. We also need, and how many people have this? I want you to write this down. We need a healthy degree of fun in our life. That's the tickle, that little. It's not the warm fuzzy. It's the energy almost. Gives us energy. When we can laugh, that gives us energy. When was the last time you laughed? Really laughed? All right. And it wasn't some kind of negative laugh at the irony of something that had happened. A real positive, full out laugh. How many people here? Can you put your hands up? Yeah, really laugh. Okay, good. Yeah. We need an outlet for what we would normally call play. And that is really important to us, the play. Now, play is different for different people, what constitutes play. But play is the part of us that is our child. And the thing about children is they have hope. All right, they have hope. And play gives us that release to find that child in us. Now, we need to remind ourselves regularly that we are not stagnant. No matter what's happening, no matter how many setbacks, all right, we're not stagnant. And that whatever challenges you're living with right now, that isn't all there is for you. There really is a whole world around us. And things that we thought about, might want to do, might want to know more about, all right? Those are real. They're not sort of amorphous that you reach out for them and they're not there. They're there. So I translated that into, it's not Tony Robbins this time, but it's built on his observations. Being a learning, growing, developing human being. How many people here, hands up, hands up, how many people have something that is available to them that reminds them that they are a learning new things, growing, developing new skills or strategies human being, developing human being? How many people? That's great. Good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, maybe 7 down here. Out of 54, come on, people. I think maybe this topic is something that is important. I hoped it wasn't, but I think it is. All right. So here's a thought I want to give you. And I don't mean to be morbid, but today, waking up today is a gift. Some people didn't. Some people won't. And if we woke up this morning, we've already received that gift. How are we going to maximize that gift? Right now, I want you to take out your papers and pen, and I want you to write down one way that today you are going to use, and I'm not talking about work, by the way, all right? You're going to use the gift of today. We're not talking about taking the car in for an oil change, all right? We're talking about something that is meaningful to you. And those people who don't have that, can't think of that easily, that's your homework today. Before you go to bed tonight, go in search of something that reminds you you are a growing, learning, developing human being. How are we going to experience the appreciation for the fact that you're not alone? We all have troubles. I have troubles. You have troubles. Everybody has troubles. We all have challenges. Okay. We also all have limitations, or we think we do, right? Sometimes I think that boundary of the limitations, I think sometimes that's sort of like the fence around the yard, as far as you can go. No, 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 you can climb that fence. All right. And in my life, I've had to climb that fence many times to get to the other side. You can do it. All right. And if there's something that's holding you back, write it down right now and send me an email to elaine.birchall@hoarding.ca and tell me what it is. And I will make it a topic of one of the upcoming podcasts. But even the balance between the gifts we have and the limitations we have, okay, that really is not the sum total of what we can squeeze out of today. Is there something you're putting off because other things pop into the front of the line of demands on your time and your energy? What we open ourselves to, what we give ourselves the job of discovering, it keeps you alive, it keeps you vibrant, and it builds your confidence. When you can overcome something, it doesn't have to be big. All right. Every time I get that blasted printer to work, I feel like a genius. I'm not technical. Well, that's what I tell myself, which is probably why I have trouble with the printer. Y'all know the printer is not my best friend. All right. And it's a great printer, apparently. All right. What do you believe right now? Right now. What are the possibilities of today? Realistically, what are the possibilities of today? Write 2 or 3 of those possibilities down. Now, ask yourself a different question. What are the possibilities of today that might be, that could be, that are overdue? Because the next thing that Tony Robbins says, and he's got some good thoughts, all right? And I think if you think about this, you'll realize that fewer things have been there. There aren't many things that have been said in this world that are as true. But each of us does need to know that our life matters. There aren't a lot of messages we get from any source practically that our life matters. We need to be that voice for ourselves. You don't have to change the world. You do not have to have the solution for world peace, cure for cancer. It doesn't have to be that big. Our life matters. And there is meaning to it. Right now, though, I'm going to ask you to stop and think. When was the last time you asked yourself, what is the meaning of my life? What is it? What does it seem to be? And is that what I want it to be? Is that what I'm capable of? And so with hoarding behavior, as a hoarding behavior and intervention specialist, my first thought went to all the people, and some of them are with me today, 60 people. All right. Thank you for trusting me with the ache you have about the piles. Okay. This not boomerang, but an evolving reflection, which I have no idea where it came from, but I'm glad it did. All right. I became a growing, learning, developing human being because I didn't know much about the topic, really. All right. So the people who live alone or feel alone, who have accepted, just let somebody in here, who have accepted that life is like that fenced backyard. There's a limit. That's it. It's not going to get any better. All right. Not going to get any better. Are corralled and distracted. What distracts you from wanting to find your way out of it? What distracts you right now? Dawn, can you handle the waiting room? There's some people
I
in.
have been, there's somebody struggling with their internet and they keep trying to get in and not getting in, but it's
Okay.
not on our end. That's their internet.
Okay, so it says waiting. Okay.
Yeah,
Two.
I've been trying to get them in for 5 minutes. It's their internet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. So that feeling of being limited, this is all there is. All right. Which isn't true. And limited, almost like you're corralled, like there's no point. You're overwhelmed. All right. Overwhelmed by the things many of us wish weren't part of our environment. The details change. We all have those things. I have them. You have them. All right. But to let them 100%, 90%, 80% corral us into believing that those challenges, those things that need resolving are bigger than we are. How many people here feel as you look around, some of that stuff has been there a long time and it's not true, but then there's a whole other level of, yeah, well, I know theoretically, but it feels like it's bigger than we are. How many people? Hands up. That's good. Well, got a few. Okay. Message to you, it's not. We'll find a way together. Right? Then I wondered, since so many people, and a lot of the people that asked me to work with them, remain there and they have their things, and that develops a level of not necessarily embraced normalcy, but it doesn't it doesn't ring a bell that this is gotta change. I deserve more. And I wondered, sometimes we all need a sense of security as well. We do. And I wonder whether there's a point at which the piles, the extras, the buildup almost become like friends in that, you know, they're there. You didn't invite them. Even when you brought them in, you didn't intend that they create a problem for you. You intended that they be part of a solution, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Is that working? How many people here feel that even though they know in their mind they need to deal with this, it's not exactly unusual? It's become kind of normalized in an odd kind of way. Anybody here? Yeah. We can make anything. Hmm. Not the way I want it, but okay. How many people here have ever had a moment when they thought, this stuff makes me safe? I don't like it. I get a lot of bad feedback about it, but makes me safe. Right now, write down, take the time, write down in what ways does the buildup make you safe and keep you safe? You need to know that because that's a thought that's back here. All right. That's probably not here. You know how I know that? You wouldn't be here every week if it was front and center. You wouldn't be. It's hiding back here, kind of not making a lot of noise, sort of reminding you, that you wanted me, you needed me, you wanted to use me. I'm still useful. What are you going to do if you get rid of me? How many people here, even though it wasn't your intent, have recognized that the piles have become, in an odd way, normalized? Nobody's saying you wanted them. Nobody's saying you desired, you set out to do it, intended. No, but kind of normalized. It doesn't ring an alarm bell. Is there anybody here who really in their heart of hearts believes that the buildup is insurmountable? It's bigger than you are. Somebody's got a lovely baby there. Oh my goodness. And how many people here, put your hands up, feel that buildup is insurmountable? It will always be there. Even if you clean it up, it'll happen again. This is the way life is going to be. It's a choice. It's a tough choice. All right, but it's a choice. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to start that longer term 10 weeks Clutter Buddy thing with coaching. All right. So that we could make a plan, work the plan, and benefit from it. Then I wondered how many people didn't realize that they might be living, because this stuff is almost, if it's normalized, it's almost like an unwanted friend. Not your best friend, but you know what? See, it is what it is. And even though you may have other people in your life, how many people would honestly say, hands up, that they live with even a low grade state of loneliness? Mhm. Loneliness is like acid. It eats away at a person. It leaves the person feeling not entirely, but to some degree, unloved, not the first choice, so not entirely unwanted. And really and truly, it does make you feel like you're not in sync with anybody else. You're not like anybody else. Even if you know other people who hoard or clutter. Remind yourself right now, write this down. I am a learning, growing, developing human being. And I do have meaning in my life. My life is important. Write that down. I want you to look at that every day when you brush your teeth. Tape it up on the bathroom mirror. All right. And then I did a lot of thinking. And then I thought of something that I was told. I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I don't even remember by whom, but it's one of those moments where you can't quite see the face of the person, but the message is clear. It's like they tattooed it on your brain. All right. I was just a wee gaffer. I don't think it was my parents. Not sure. I don't know whether it was probably not at school. It wouldn't have been intense enough. And I was in about maybe grade 2 when we're just like little sponges, yeah, pick up everything, good, bad, and indifferent. I was told, maybe it was, I can't get it. I wish I could. I was told, and I remember this clearly, like it happened yesterday. All right. That each and every one of us, so that includes you guys too, all 63 of you, we were put on this earth because there was something that we uniquely were gifted with. And we were supposed to do, and nobody else, no matter how successful, no matter how smart, no matter how wealthy, no matter how whatever, nobody else could do it. All right. No matter what skills, no advantages, we were put on this earth with a goal, a a gift, all right, an ability. And that was our meaning. And our job was to find it and get all the interruptions, all the interference, all the distractions, get them out of the way. All right. Because nobody else, this world will be poorer if we don't meet our meaning. We needed to find it. We needed to believe it. And we needed to act on it. Now, nobody says we're going to be the solution to world peace. All right. It could be a gift very, very small to you. But what is your gift? What is your talent? Write it down. Now, a talent isn't quite the same thing because you can learn a talent. But a gift is something that is in your nature. Yeah, you may need to learn about it, but it's in your nature already. It's the way I feel about hoarding. I don't hoard, but I can't tell you why I understand it as much as I do. I see it as a human condition, not a shaming thing. And it's equal. It's on an equal line with a lot of other stuff that a lot of other people don't worry about. And they're doing it. What is your talent? What is your gift? What are you really good at? Are you writing it down? I only see 4 hands, and there are 63 people here. I don't want to want 5 hands, 6 hands. 7 hands. Oh, we're getting a few more. Good. 4 more, 3 more, 5 more. Good. Because it's something you really need to drill down on. You're missing your core. And then all the other things that get in the way, that seem to set you back, that discourage you, that you get judged by or you judge yourself by. All right. All of those take precedence. And then you start believing the negative. The negative is also true. Okay. I've got my negatives. I would spend hours talking about my negatives. All right. We all have them. I'm asking you, what's your positive? Who here, put your hand up if you don't think you have one? You can't come up with it. Come on, we've got 63 people. 1, 2, 3. Anybody else? Okay. Maybe, is it possible? I want you to think about this just in a quiet way. How and what were we meant to influence something with that talent? The talent might be patience or perseverance. Okay, not everybody has that, believe me. Maybe just in a quiet way, how were we meant to influence something that actually you can't see it right now, but it would be like a pebble that starts to roll down a hill and becomes a boulder by the end of it. Now, we're not talking destructively, we're talking influentially. All right. And then I wondered, would it be worthwhile if I did a little research, since I'm not an expert on the topic, loneliness, and I brought that to you because loneliness is like a leak. All right. And if you can't come up with your talent, your thing, the thing you do really well, and it can be a passive thing like patience, like perseverance, like, and I remember at the same time, it's not part of the material I intended to bring to you, but it's come to my mind and it might be helpful. And that is, I remember my mother and father telling me when I'd get frustrated, particularly with math, that if you give up, you've got nothing. You've got nothing. You're stuck. But if you just keep trying, all right, just keep trying, and the solution might just be the next thing you try. And how many people cheat themselves by stopping one try before the fix? And I can't tell you how many times, as unlikely as that is, all right, that has really stuck in my mind. And I thought, you know what? You don't have to succeed this time. You just have to keep trying. Maybe the trying is to learn more. Maybe the trying is to get help. I know when I did the excursion to prove, all right, to you folks, how to overcome with that trekking gorillas at my age, all right, I'm going to be 78 on my next birthday. And that was what, 2, 3 years ago? All right, and I was not in great physical condition when that idea came to me. And I got myself in slightly better. And then I asked for what I needed. I needed one guy on this arm and one guy on this arm to make sure that as I walked on uneven ground, 4 miles and miles and miles and miles, and you got to see the video of me rappelling up 500 feet in the air. All right. So I wouldn't break my left ankle again. I've broken it twice in the same place. The doctor said, all right. It could be just on the next try. I can't tell you how many times on that track to prove to you how a person can overcome what feels like really, truly insurmountable obstacles. Just keep going. Just keep going. One more step. One more step. Because if we don't, we have the experience of loneliness, even if we're in a pack of people. It erodes our confidence in ourselves. Now, I'm not trying to make you depressed, and I'm not trying to talk to you into being a lonely person, but I did wonder whether next week, talking about the different types of loneliness and some ideas about how to deal with them might be a good idea. Okay, hands up. I have 2 hands. I have 3. I've got 4. I've got 65 people. And oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's looking like it might be a good idea. All right. So if we're telling ourselves the truth, all right, there have probably for all of us been periods and times in our life when we did feel lonely. We did experience the loneliness. It wasn't just an in this moment. Was it because we were inadequate or in some way a negative influence? No. Lowest probability, that's what it was. No, it's just sometimes circumstances. But I guess as I'm making this pitch to you today for everybody who comes every week, to give some thought to how much are the piles condemning you to be lonely or just lonelier than you have to be? Are they part of the solution or are they part of the problem? And are they actually restricting your life, even your life personally with yourself? Okay. And I'm betting that they are restricting options that are depriving you of feeling satisfied and proud, pride in the accomplishment you've made, and any other that you want to make, that you're trying to make, that you have your eyes on, that are in your environment. To some degree, an overly cluttered environment, a hoarded environment, all right, will do that to you. But know this, even when that may be the thing that is paramount in your mind, none of us, not you, not me, the sum total, our failings, our shortcomings are not the sum total of who we are. Neither are the best. All right. So I want to talk to you a little bit about something I read in a book called How to Overcome Loneliness and Feel Connected. Break out of isolation, build meaningful relationships, and create a life of true connection and belonging. And it's by Dr. Maya Gray. That's what I'm going to bring to you next week. Now I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to open the mics and let's talk about this.
Can you do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.